So I know it's kind of blurry, but this says Kony 2012. And Kony 2012 and 2012 was a movement by a guy, Jason something, we'll get into it, to catch a Ugandan warlord by crowdsourcing like a kit to like make him like famous on the internet so people are aware of what he's doing. But when I watched this video, I can't help but he was a victim of his own success. Like, the video went wild, like viral beyond like their imagination. And it was really hard for him to keep up with that expectation. So let's get into it.
Kony 2012 is the story of a man, Jason Russell,
and
his relentless quest to stop Ugandan warlord, Joseph Kony. Let's begin with the action start. On March 5th, 2012, a charity called Invisible Children published a high-production video called Kony 2012. It was an awareness campaign seeking to mobilize action to capture or kill Ugandan warlord Joseph Kony.
And the goal of the story was to make Kony famous.
30 minutes long, it really tried to pull at your heartstrings.
At the end of my life, I want to say that the world we've left behind is one that Gavin can be proud of.
So that's his son. And he actually, I remember watching this video. And I remember watching it for the first time being like, oh yeah, this is like, because 2012, I was like in my 20s, like my early 20s. And it was like... It was
meant to raise interest.
Right, and we knew the world was like a shitty place. And it's like, what can we do? Like, we know there are bad things going on. It's like, how can we help? And this was a video that really helped people like... interested in that mobilize himself, right? And so one criticism that he got was that he put his like kid in there a lot, and it's like, why do you keep putting your kid in there? And it was like people thought that they were like he was using his kid as like a ploy.
Well, he said his purpose is to build something for the future, so he had his son in mind always when he wants to make a better place or whatnot, or the reasons behind why he wanted to help.
I think it was like he was like really trying to pull at your heartstrings, and that's like the criticism that he got.
Because his kid was so cute, and he's like, meh.
Yeah.
Left behind is one that Gavin can be proud of.
Like, is that him?
A place that doesn't allow Joseph
Kony like,
and child soldiers.
What?
And little Gavin would have been proud, because it took off like no video on YouTube ever had.
We wanted 500,000 views in the whole year of 2012. We got 500,000 views in the first 3 hours.
It received 100 million views in the first 6 days.
Okay, so just to give you some context, you're expecting... oh my god, I can't even do this math. But this is basically... you're not even expecting 1 million, and you're getting like 20 times that.
He was expecting 500,000.
Yeah, 100 million.
So it's 200 times.
Oh my god, he got 200 times the amount of press.
Oh, is that the math you were trying to do?
Yeah.
Come on, Joseph.
I'm trying. Oh my god, I'm so high. But seriously, like, that's almost frightening for anything to be that successful, because now I don't know.
It's like overnight success.
Yeah.
Because
no, but it's
but
beyond that. It's like viral success, where it's like, how do we deal with this amount
much
of exposure?
Yes, because now you're reaching even people you weren't meaning to reach with that, and so
it's like the thing about putting stuff on the internet. It's like it's almost like you have to be prepared to instantly scale. Otherwise, you're going to lose the momentum. And that's why I think he knew that. And that's why it put him under such stress. But anyways, let's keep going, because we'll see what happens.
Did he know that long ago?
Well, no, but
from the looks of the way he made the video.
No, I don't think anyone knew it. And that's the thing. It's like, this is a rare case where like you are
unprecedented.
Yeah. The amount of, he was like the first one to grow that fast.
Like
and
30-minute
1.4
1.4 million likes.
Click that link in the description below. They clicked it so hard the website went down, and their email was so inundated that the service provider assumed it was an attack and temporarily pulled the plug. The Times name was the most
horrible.
Yeah, his face.
No,
even
that was
on time.
pulling the plug like a dead.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Man, he was even on time. Like, a viral video that you made could change a cover of Time. That's crazy exposure.
That's what I'm saying. He's hitting people he didn't even think he was gonna.
And they raised over $20 million.
Reach.
$20 million. People really went fucking bananas for this video, and
how are
those
you going to change your
Ugandan
plans
kids.
to...
4 million hashtags. People changed their Facebook profiles, so you knew it was a big deal. A fan-made mobile game. Are you woke about Joseph Kony? Yeah, but are you woke enough to get a tattoo? People were up for pretty much anything to stop Kony, as long as it didn't involve any practical action. One like equals one saved child. But who is Joseph Kony and what's all the fuss? Well, he's the leader of the Lord's Resistance Army, LRA.
My God, you're greasy.
And he really is one of the most evil people living today. Imagine the worst crime you can think of committing, and he'll have done it thousands of times over.
Takes children, makes them kill their parents and eat their parents.
The surviving girls would be kept as sex slaves, and the boys conscripted into the LRA as child soldiers.
I know, it's kind of a bummer.
It's all part of a civil conflict that's been going on for 30 years. We'll get into the details later, but for now, consider this our one-dimensional bad guy. And here's our protagonist, Jason Russell, the figurehead of Kony 2012 and Invisible Children. He's a devout Christian, stereotypically Californian,
I do consider myself a
armor on,
refined valley dude.
but he has a bad boy side too. So it all starts in 2003 when, as a naive and aspiring filmmaker, he goes to Uganda with 2 friends in search of a story. While driving through a rural village,
A car was shot in front of us by a
video
rebel
game?
army who was led by a guy named Joseph Kony.
they drive to a city for safety and find this. Turns out it's part of a nightly routine. Kids live in the villages, but commute to the city to sleep there to avoid being kidnapped in midnight raids by the LRA.
Oh,
I know.
Thousands and thousands of kids without an adult in sight.
Jason had found his story. And a cause. It must have made a real impression on him, because for the next 10 years he dedicated himself almost exclusively to trying to improve things in Uganda and stop Kony.
See, this is why I give him the benefit of the doubt, because he committed so much time to it, even before this went super viral, which was great. But I think he really cared about this story.
Kony 2012 was the culmination, but in the preceding years he tried a bunch of other schemes. This,
The bracelet campaign.
See, in 2006, he was trying to raise money for awareness for Kony.
Invisible Children?
Yeah, exactly, Invisible Children. So 6 years before Kony 2012 went bananas, he was starting, I guess,
trying to raise awareness was what he was initially doing.
this,
Twice daily broadcast about where the LRA is and where they're active.
and this.
Do what we always do.
Oh yeah, this is the musical.
Yes, it's so good. Oh my God, we covered this. You guys should watch. It's so great. Just look up Kony 2012 musical. When we reacted to it, it was so funny. It's amazing.
I cannot believe it's.
You can remember it, right? It's like ingrained in my memory. I can remember so many scenes.
It was just a joke, though, right? Like they were.
No, they were real. It was to raise awareness for a night where like everyone got together and slept outside, so they can feel like what it was like to sleep like one of the Ugandan kids. And so it was actually a specific video made to spread awareness of an event for a specific night.
Oh, okay.
That's why everyone's like, they have all of like their backpacking stuff at the end and like sleeping bags because they're all gonna sleep outside.
Out there.
Yeah.
All real.
I wish I could make a video like this.
SNL.
No, I know. That's why
I feel like SNL would put on, except I don't recognize these actors.
the scene where he was with that guy and he was like, he chops up like their parents and makes their kids eat it. It's like that almost seems like a line from SNL. It's like, it's hard for me. Like I almost have to like remind myself this isn't Saturday Night Live. But then that's how bad it is because it's like almost unimaginable.
But they probably I've heard where they do like that's how they recruit.
But to be fair, SNL is a way to connect. I mean, I don't know, maybe a way to connect with like a younger demographic. So of course he's gonna try like what they're trying. It's like to like make it maybe more approachable for like a younger generation by making a song and dance
About something very ugly or real.
Yeah,
outside
they're on a
of our
mission.
world.
They're on a mission to put Uganda deep inside your mind. How about Uganda wanna know this mission? Or it's fine. We already all know about this now.
It needs attention
What year was this? 2011?
I think so. Dang it, I shouldn't laugh.
Naturally, questions have been raised about his sexual orientation.
He's a good dancer.
Sexual orientation?
Whatever sexual orientation you are, you can dance well. That's a misnomer.
Yeah.
There are gay people that dance bad, I'm sure, right?
Yes.
I'm sure.
A lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard those rumors. Yeah. My parents started a large children's theater organization.
I don't know. If anything, you should get on him about the way he speaks. I'm just kidding. That's mean.
And so
Is he from LA?
I think so. He's from the Valley.
He sounds like a Valley girl.
No. I think he's from San Diego.
No, just because he went to college there.
Well, I don't know. Well, he also
UCSD,
spends a lot of time in San Diego. But anyways, let's keep going.
A lot of people don't leave after they go to college there.
He's from Southern California. Let's just say that.
He sounds like a lot of people I know, and I'm just like...
Yeah.
Theatrical.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
There's nothing wrong with being
Straight men are allowed
theatrical.
to enjoy musicals. It's current year. Back to Kony 2012. So
Yes.
the video lays out a plan called Cover the Night. Here's what you do. Pay $30 for your super special Kony action kit. Whoa.
Action.
Nice.
kit.
In the kit, you'll find 5 items. Button, bracelet, stickers, shirt.
This is why I thought it was
and
political.
these posters.
Well, I guess it
Yeah.
is.
They made it look political.
It
And
is
April
political
20th.
if you're trying to oust another... If you're
So-
trying to get awareness to oust...
that video came out March, 1 month before their action night.
Oh,
And it did 200 times better than they thought it was. So that's an immense amount of pressure, I feel like. Unless they got all those kits out, which is good for them.
The dead of night, go out and vandalize your town with awareness.
And wake up to hundreds of thousands of posters demanding justice on every corner.
It was going to be amazing. Everyone was on board. The countdown to April 20th had begun.
remember that?
And all
Where
Jason
was
and
I?
I do. I remember. Well, okay. So I remember
Adriana
kind
was
of
born. I
waiting.
was in a phase. I mean, days.
Yeah, I remember seeing the video. I didn't order a kit, but I remember waiting for like the day to come, and I was like, I wonder what's gonna happen. But then I remember the rest of the story too. So let's keep going.
What we had to do was keep the momentum going and not fuck it up.
The new way to move the world to action.
But this movie is not without critics.
Critics say the film manipulates the facts.
Simplifying the story.
Oversimplifying a wildly complex issue. The message is too late. Joseph Kony and his forces have been significantly reduced.
Pro-war activism.
Utterly naive to
By next week, this will be a passing
These
fad.
white Westerners sort of getting on a bandwagon, and actually they haven't got a clue what they're talking about.
Oh, poor guy.
A day or two later, the heady excitement gave way to more down-to-earth analysis. Media commentators started making scathing critiques of the video, and testimony from Uganda wasn't entirely positive either.
It's unfortunate that we can have people who are merchandising, but using people's problems.
Then it got really
merchandising. So he's accusing him of
Just
exploiting
making money off the story.
You're right. And that sucks. I mean, I'm obviously like just putting myself in this guy's shoes, where it's like he was spending like all this time, like 10 years, just trying to like help like a
Raise
nation,
awareness.
right? And then like, and that's the thing. It's like when you just by nature of being popular, you're gonna open yourself up to criticism, and it's so.
Well, my question was, why wasn't he working with people within the
That's true.
country of Uganda? Like, where were those people? How are you going to make any changes there without actually, having
Well, I think
ties with people who are there on the ground actually, like...
Right, and I think he wanted... I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he does have people out there that he wants to help, and that's why they're raising money. Like, that's why... I'm pretty sure that's why he even had, like, the bracelet campaign, was because he wants to send them resources. And I think the Kony 2012 was initially supposed to be an awareness campaign so they can raise more money, but then it became the fundraising campaign, but they still had to keep up the awareness portion of the schedule because that was April 20th. And so it's like so many things happened at once for him. I think it was just like the perfect storm of like criticism, of success, and of like you still have to plan the rest of it.
But now the plans have to change. You weren't prepared for that much. That's what I'm saying. The whole.
That's what I'm saying. It's like he's a victim of his own success, and it's hard to pivot when it's like when you're that successful, because
you
it's
just
like
need
you're
to
huge.
onboard a lot of people who know what they're doing.
Yeah. Wow.
If you can find them, like.
All right, let's keep going.
Teenage girls started weighing in.
Kony, so I asked my mom, and my mom laughs and goes, he died like 5 years ago.
This is wrong, by the way, but it was seen by 4 million people. From a source of my mum said it, so it must be true. The term slacktivism started cropping up more and more. Legitimate questions were asked. How will the money donated be spent?
That invisible children would send would have to go to the Ugandan military.
Why did you put your son in the film?
You know, why would you put your son in the film? You know, why did you put yourself in the film? It was questions about our sincerity.
Why are they saying Kony is in Uganda when he's actually in the Central African Republic? Invisible Children wasn't popular among other charities either. They were hogging the limelight. And they released Kony 2012 just 2 days before International Women's Day, a critical fundraising time for some. Even the Ugandan Prime Minister took a few jabs.
Like, okay, honestly, how could you know that though? Like when your video might go up before like an obscure holiday. Viral. I mean, not an obscure holiday, just like you can't be aware of every single holiday though, or every single
a holiday for something.
Oh yeah, or every single fundraising season. Like that's oh man, this poor guy.
Need a sleek video on YouTube for us to take notice.
Maybe you do.
Most people started feeling misled. They turned against the
Uganda is
and squared the blame on
South
one
America?
person.
At least Americans.
The pressure was building. Online backlash and a hectic schedule was starting to take a toll.
My phone was getting 10 text messages every second. It was just...
Millions of supporters on one side, millions of critics on the other.
On and on and on.
Make Kony famous? Well, it made Jason famous too. And the pressure kept increasing. He was flying all over the country to spread his message.
Took the red eye to New York, landed at 5 in the morning.
Working around the clock.
On the Today Show, People Magazine, Reuters. By day 3, I was in LA doing interview after interview after interview.
17 interviews in 48 hours.
Wow.
He was sleeping less and becoming more erratic.
Not being able to sleep, not being able to stop my racing mind.
Criticism from every direction.
Then it was like, you're the worst. You're terrible, and Kony's dead.
They started saying the whole project was for his ego, or based on greed, and not just criticism, responsibility. How are you going to stop children from being murdered, Jason? You promised a solution, Jason. When are you going to deliver Kony?
At the end of that day...
Did he promise a solution?
My mind was exhausted.
I think it's not that
he was just trying to raise awareness.
It's not that he promised a solution. It's just every form of criticism against that video was funneled to him, and it's like every question about Kony and every question about like invisible children. Like, what are you gonna do? It's just like it all came down to like one person. It's like the guy who took responsibility for making the video, obviously, and who put himself in it. This is maybe this is a message of don't put yourself in videos.
Release the pressure, he and his family tried to take a couple of days off by going to Palm Springs. But people recognized him there too, so they hid away in their hotel room with the curtains closed. Jason was starting to crack. Paranoia, delusions of grandeur. He went with his family to see the Lorax, and he thought the film was speaking to him directly. Voices in Jason's head told him that he needed to get to New York in the next 12 hours or Kony would win, whatever that meant. Then
he's asleep.
He stripped off all of his clothes and ran out into the street.
Oh, he had a nervous
so what would you
breakdown.
call this? Like exhaustion-induced psychosis? What? Stress-induced psychosis. So basically, yeah, he had
You're not supposed to be that
that stressed for that amount of time.
You see surgeons, they train for that for years. To be able to go that many hours on that like high alert or
So I remember seeing this and my young naive mind was like, did Kony poison this guy? When this happened in 2012. I was like,
because you remember that
my thing was like, oh, this really took out all of the steam. This moment took out all of the steam from the campaign. Because everyone was like, this guy's crazy. This guy's nuts. Yeah. This is before the April 20th Paint the Night, whatever campaign.
He needed a manager like quick, but he didn't have one.
Right. And now looking back at it and you look at like you look at it from like a mental breakdown point of view because of all of the stress from like the criticism and like him flying back and forth and like keeping up with the marketing.
Celebrities have it quite often when they hit a mark and then all of a sudden they're hot.
Yes.
And they kind of like lose themselves almost if they're not careful.
This is TMZ, so they get all of it.
Right. Oh, and then they go through a mental break like this, and it's like sad, but it's not uncommon. Like
yes,
it's not uncommon, and it's like they need help.
But recognizing what a mental breakdown looks like, I think is I think crucial for people being more maybe sympathetic to like things that happen,
or being
like
able
this.
to recognize it before this happens.
Yes,
if you're a loved one and you can recognize and be like, okay, we need to like somehow.
And the thing is, they're trying. They recognize it too late. Like they're on vacation. They're like trying to unwind, and it just like. I guess at a certain point, it's up to him to also manage like that amount of stress because he himself also has to. It's up to him to disconnect, right? But it's like, how do we manage that, especially when like there are deadlines and like opportunities that you have never had, and of course you have to take all of them.
I know he's probably thinking like, "This is our chance. This is our chance." It's just like, oh, there's no prep for that. But,
yeah. So looking back on it, it's like,
and here we go, flashing his video with his naked ass. It's not about living it down. It's about being able to show the world how to get through it, live through it. Because I think a lot of people have had mental breaks, and luckily he just walks around naked. Some people do like way more things that you can't come back from.
Yeah. Let's see the rest of this.
I was on a street in San Diego, totally naked and crazy out of my mind. Someone driving by in a car took a video on their phone, and they sold it to TMZ for $30,000.
Oh,
and then
$30,000.
He made that guy's day.
Viral as well.
Some have said that he was jacking it and that he was on drugs. Neither is true. It's just a very distressed man having a mental episode.
Were you also masturbating? Did I hear that too?
No one who was there ever said that was happening.
Yeah.
I'm naked, so it's not a far extension of,
like
imagination.
A commenter.
He was taken to the hospital, not jail.
Police say when they showed up, they didn't see any of that, and was taken to a local medical facility that he was not arrested, though.
And there, he thought the staff were trying to kill him.
Just one of those things where I'm like, I don't believe what you're saying. You're trying to kill me.
So he's obviously
paranoid, and then they have to strap you down.
He's obviously had he's under like a form of psychosis because like what brings a person back from that? Do they just have to like go to sleep?
Yes, they need to rest. They need to like eat, calm down. Hopefully not too many. Like they'll probably give him some sedatives and tied him down. Like,
and if the thing is, it's not like that would have happened if his video didn't go viral. And so it's like anyone.
Yeah, how many? He would have never had that many interviews. 17 interviews in 2 days.
Yeah, so anyone is like 1 month away from psychosis, or even
they go viral. Well, handle it a little better.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
What's sad is because the goal for him was awareness. So it was about grabbing an audience.
That's the thing. Yeah,
That's why he was like, "This is it," and then it's like, "Whoa, it's too much."
History of mental illness, right? He has, it's not like he's done this before, and just so much stress in like such a small amount of time caused him to like have a mental breakdown. That's what I'm saying. A mental breakdown is closer than we think. Like if you don't manage or your stress properly. Oof. All right,
it's like the same as homelessness. Someone said 3 bad mistakes away from living under a tree.
He ran around in his underwear, kicking in doors until eventually he was subdued and sedated.
You come back to yourself as you know yourself.
How long were you crazy for?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
That's a long time.
No, it's not. Some people don't ever.
Later on.
No, but I think, you assume like, I don't know, maybe for like his wife and kids, like you see your spouse or someone who's never had a history of doing this before go through a mental breakdown and they don't come back for 2 weeks. That's a long. I understand what you're saying. It's not a long time.
Reset, and if he doesn't come to terms with the stress that is caused this, then it just comes right back.
Yeah, and then a bunch of other people who saw him naked started suing him. So damn, he's just like
because they saw a dude naked.
Pretty much, Yeah.
Oh, come on.
We live in a very litigious state.
Oh my gosh, we're such prudes.
Sharona Reed tried to sue Mr. Russell for the trauma of having to see him do naked calisthenics. As far as I can tell, though, that lawsuit went nowhere.
Oh, thank God.
Can you think of anything else that's worse than running around naked going like this on TMZ?
Well,
I know, he's
maybe one thing.
embarrassed. I know, maybe not.
While all of this was happening, the countdown to the day of action was still ticking. Thousands of kits had been sold.
420.
Get ready for an awareness campaign so effective you'll think you're living in Uganda.
Yeah, I was waiting for
The
this.
kids rolled out into the street. Selfie sticks and posters ready.
I didn't have $30 to spend, though.
Let's save those kids. We're changing the world. Oh, God.
Ice cream
yes.
So you did your part. Good job.
But it wasn't all well intended. Some took it as a chance to vandalize their neighborhood with impunity.
Oh, lame.
They didn't have $30 either.
Right.
And despite the impression you might get from this fancy montage, the turnout was abysmal.
Yeah.
Here are some figures. Toronto, 50,000 people registered. Real attendance? 50.
Whoa!
18,000 people registered. Real attendance? 12.
Oh!
That's like
4,800
Trump's campaign in Tulsa.
0. Instead, they
Dang,
cancelled their event
that's
and
what
put
I'm
up a post calling Invisible Children a fraud organization. This is what 4 million Kony hashtags gets you. Now, I bet you want to know where Invisible Children, Jason Russell, and Kony are now. But before I tell you that, I want to go on 2 quick tangents of things I found while researching. In the Kony 2012 video, you'll see this guy, Louis Marino Ocampo, Chief Prosecutor for the International Criminal Court. This would be the organization that charges Kony if he was ever caught. Well, in 2017, a bunch of Louis' emails were leaked, and they detailed one hell of a caper to catch Kony and bring him to justice. I'm not making any of the following up, right? Here's the plan. Lure Kony out of the jungle with Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie
of course.
as bait.
Straight from a Hollywood movie.
This ain't North
Angelina
Korea.
Jolie and Brad Pitt attempting to arrest an African
Honey
warlord.
trap. I think it's called a honey
So it would
pot.
go,
Honey-
the A-list
yeah.
couple would fly to the edge of the jungle where Kony is hiding and call him up with an invitation to dinner. Kony, starstruck, would of course say yes. He'd show up, presumably bottle of wine in hand and ready to mingle. Then, imagine his shock. It was a trap all along. Special forces would pop out from behind the salad bar and get their guy.
One idea appears to have been for Angelina Jolie to lure him to a private dinner where he would be arrested.
It was a foolproof plan, but unfortunately, it was never realized. Once Miss Jolie stopped responding to Louis' weird emails, Ocampo approached George Clooney for use of his spy satellite.
The chief prosecutor had also attempted to recruit George Clooney.
Okay, so this is kind
So
of
is
like
that guy the crazy dude?
this. No. This is revisionist history because this guy in 2017 had outlined that he was actually seriously trying to get Kony, and so Jason Russell was right. People were seriously trying to get him, and his awareness and all of like the criticism kind of is kind of unfounded because the guy who's in charge of bringing Kony to justice is actually actively
trying to do it.
Yeah.
And needs help.
And he's coming up with like these elaborate plans that like have like these celebrities like involved. And
I
he's
didn't know.
actively calling them.
Joseph Kony's like a military dude, so he's
He was like an army guy.
So they're already at war.
Yeah. But he uses child soldiers, and that's like the issue that people have with him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's already a war happening,
Mhm.
and this is to raise awareness and to help the Ugandans win the war.
Or
Is that
no,
what
I
they're-
don't think
is
no, I
that
think it's
because
maybe
they're
to help
trying
the kids. I think Jason Russell's main point is like he
Invisible
wants to help the kids that are there. He doesn't I don't think he cares about the war, but he cares that Joseph
But how
Kony,
if the children are just being seen as
No, right, and I
goods
think-
to keep the war going?
that's why he wants to raise awareness about Joseph Kony as well. It's like the reason why we need to raise money is because of this guy who's like
this is why
kidnapping
the
these kids.
are disappearing, or and the
Yeah.
family's getting
So the guy who's actually in charge of bringing Kony to justice is actually taking it at least as serious as to recruit Ocean's 11
or
to help him.
trying. They both kind of like come up with the same storylines. I feel like.
In a plot to fly spy satellites over Libya.
Yes, that's correct. George Clooney partnered with a satellite company to spy on al-Bashir of Sudan.
That's his, this is kind of a tangent, but George Clooney has, he appears in Nespresso commercials, and I heard all of the proceeds that he makes from Nespresso, it goes to this, his satellite thing to help people like watch over Africa and help people like find the bad people. So I thought that was really interesting.
On al-Bashir of Sudan.
George Clooney.
Everyone's like spying
Anyway, he
on
responded
everybody.
that the satellite wasn't powerful enough. So then Ocampo moved on to his backup date, Sean Penn, whom he invited to the UN security meeting in South Sudan.
What? Yeah. This guy used all of Hollywood.
And there were some people having fun with Kony 2012 as well. Turns out Kony looks a lot like Carl Weathers in the movie Predator.
No, they
so
don't.
So an idea was formed. Take this screenshot from Predator, post it on Facebook, and say how great he is without mentioning the name.
What?
Then wait for some slacktivists to immediately assume it's Joseph Kony. Then you call them racist. It was good for a few minutes of fun. Then
like
they
they
tried it on
don't
the
look
official
alike
meetup pages.
at all.
Promptly deleted. And we're back. So get a load of this total car crash, dumpster fire, shitstorm, diaper hurricane, am I right, guys? Well, no. Despite all the mishaps and poor turnout, Kony 2012 was a massive success. The goal was to make an obscure warlord in rural Uganda a household name.
And we all know him.
He succeeded. A reach in the hundreds of millions on a budget of about $1.5 million. Any marketing agency would kill for that. In fact, 7 years later, you probably clicked on this video because you have some vague notion of Kony and that video already.
Yeah, that was interesting. I thought it was interesting how that guy was a victim of his own success, but also wildly successful at doing what he did. And I think him being genuine was really his greatest defense, because like I don't think he was ever like charged with anything. I think all of there's another video that goes into like how the money was spent, which I should have looked into. But yeah,
well, I mean, he's very lucky. He didn't get shot.
Yeah,
Usually that's how a lot of places respond to mental breakdowns.
Yeah.
And a lot of that stress, happens in like poorer areas. They just come in and shoot you like, shut up, get him some sedatives. Get him some weed.
Yeah, if you're close to a mental breakdown, go check out our merch store. Is that insensitive? I don't know. Anyways, or go check out our videos. It's fine.
Well, they gotta do something different.
Yep.
Reduce the stress.
Yes, I think that's really the takeaway here is you really have to manage your stress, because we're all
cortisol will kill you.
We're all very close to a mental breakdown.
At too long. It's meant to be given in spurts, and people trying to go off of it for like chronically, it's not good for you. It'll break your body.
Yeah.
Where this was meant to be.
Yep.
Chronic.
Go smoke your buds, and if you don't have buds, wear your buds.
Maybe we should edibles too if you don't like smoking.
Yeah, every way is out there. We all need to relax. All right, we'll see you. Bye.
Or get back to work.
If you liked the video, leave a like and subscribe.